lot of the active, visible presence seems to be kind of based around Manchester, and we definitely have enough people, enough sympathetic voices to make that happen elsewhere. So I'd really like to see us start growing in the north, on the seacoast, out in the Keene area, and get more people involved. So
it'd be interesting if we could approach John Lynch for some sort of government grant to grow the party. That'd be fun. When you mentioned the North Country, I'm like, oh yeah, he wants to get high-speed internet to the North Country. He wants to get new parts in Berlin.
So you're going to go with this emergency relief squad?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The rapid response team. Absolutely. So this is what I want to mention, and you guys, and I want to open it up to everybody if you want to just chime in. But you mentioned how there were certain groups that are libertarian they have commonalities on certain issues, and I found that, as you know, I'm good friends with Karen Tessman from Cornerstone Policy Research, and the problem is that, well, with her, she hasn't really stepped forward to really help out on too many other issues. She has helped out on the education thing sort of grudgingly. She's tried to help stop the expansion of the state into local affairs. But if I want her to help me on something, I have to help her on something. And hopefully I'm going to help her on something where we have a commonality. But I know over the large frame of things, she's doing a lot of stuff that drives me crazy. And so even though she's connected and she's sort of helping the libertarian cause on the education issue, trying to fight the Claremont lawsuits, she's out there trying to have an amendment to say that only males and females can marry. So I don't know how you look at it, Rich. If it's a play it as it goes sort of a thing, you have to sort of gauge each group, that sort of deal. And I don't know how people in the audience feel about this, because we do. There are a lot of great people. There are some evangelical groups who are really strongly against the expansion of government. Great, except they don't want to do this, or they're so. Like if I have to spend $75 to go to a dinner, I'm not going to spend the money to give her organization any money anymore, because on balance.
Well, yeah, that's any group you support. We all get fundraising letters from everything from the LP to Taxpayers Union, Greenpeace, across the political and social spectrum. You got to decide, okay, as Brennan said, I think even Ronald Reagan said it. Someone who agrees with me 80% of the time is my friend, not my enemy. And we really do need to work together. Some groups, sometimes it's one issue they're libertarian on, and they either don't deal with other issues, or they, in our opinion, have a non-libertarian point of view on another issue. And I always try to persuade them. You have conversations and try to make them think of things. And I've heard you do this on the radio with a lot of your guests. Basically, you work together where you have something in common, and if you don't have anything in common, all right, you just don't work together. I think maybe it wasn't true 10 years ago, but it's definitely true now. I think we all realize that we have differences of opinion among the different groups, and if we choose to not work together on something, okay, well, the next issue that comes along, we'll work together. I really don't think there's any hard feelings. I know Karen in particular, knows that she is not a libertarian, but there are things in common. I mean, her group, and a lot of the family issues groups, they're very concerned about, they want, school choice, they don't want the government mandating immunizations, they're in favor of lower taxes, local control. So there's a lot of things we can work together on. The ones we don't, well, we may be on opposite sides of the table, testifying for the State House or a protest or whatever, but we realize we're all friends and we're just trying to get our ideas across and all of them civilly.
Yeah.
So I don't really think the discussions can get a little heated, but I think everyone realizes that we're still allies.
What do you think, Mike?
I tend to agree with what he says. I just think that you're always going to be a lot better off if you could concentrate on the positives. If you're gonna get hung up because there's some little issue that you just don't get along with this person, or they, or I can't work with this person. This is never gonna work. I mean, and I think I'm a realist. You know, I've been around for a while now, and I just think that this is gonna be a long-term process that we're going to change the way that America thinks and come. And I really don't know if we'll ever get to the 100% pure libertarian thinking the way it is and pure freedom. It would be nice, but I'm thinking the main thing is that we start making strides to go in the other direction. And we've got a country that's going off a cliff. And, you know, if we don't stop the train, you know, and at least start to think about backing it down a little bit, you know, we're in deep trouble. Yeah. And my thinking is, I like thinking of an incremental change, you know, that's why I think if I can get elected as a state rep, as a libertarian, at least we'll have somebody in there who's actually out front saying I'm a libertarian, and if we get a libertarian leading bill that somebody has an idea, I'll be, you know, push it in, see what I can do. We know we have friends out there who are, you know, elected as sort of Democrats or sort of Republicans, and if they come up with an idea, say, why don't we do this, and it would be nice if we had a libertarian to stick out there and say, okay, yeah, let's do it, we'll put it as, and then see what kind of support we get.
I guess I think that I agree with these guys that where we have common issues with single issue groups, we should go for it. We should stand together, and that's, you know, even if we come at it from different perspectives. You know, that I'm in a motorcyclist rights group, for example. You know, some issues that align perfectly with libertarianism, and some of them are directly opposed. And so I work against them on those issues, and with them on those where we agree. But I think the only danger lies in where you form an alliance that you feel so strongly about that it causes you to clam up where you disagree. And I think that's a danger that has to be avoided.
Yeah, I'd be interested in